Alright, here we go. Sighting in my Stg58 on an Imbel receiver, DSA cover. Having issues with it shooting low and to the right, so being I'm unfamiliar with the platform, I'm trying to get the sights sighted in. I'm pretty sure it's the sights, it's ejecting just fine. So I also noticed I was mashing my trigger. So it goes to show it really helps when you video yourself and then go back and watch. So here we go. Going hot. Love that. What's up, everyone? So today we're going to be talking about AKs and Mother Russia and how communism is awesome. Wait, just kidding. Communism is not awesome. Just putting it out there. Let's actually arm ourselves with right arm of the free world right here. FAL. Whoa, right here. I love my AKs. But something about these just going out and fighting communism just warms my heart. Especially to all those Rhodesian boys. Yeah. So this is a Stg58 produced 1961. This one right here is 57,007. So 57007 right here. Very low numbers for how many were actually made. From my research that I just did on this gun, come to find out it's actually produced by Steyr, so that's awesome. Talk about an awesome find. So this gun, super heavy. It doesn't help out that this is metal handguards, metal bipod, metal everything, buttstock's heavy as hell. So this I actually found by sheer chance. No joke, I was shipping out a pistol at my FFL, Dixiegun&fish. Shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome, and you literally deplete my wallet. So I'm going to set that down for a minute. So I have been hunting for an Stg58 since I started getting into collecting pretty heavily. These guns can run a pretty penny. Everyone I had been seeing was well over what I could afford, but I always loved the look of them. They were heavily influenced by the STG-44s, thus STG-58. Even the name, Sturmgewehr, I can't say that right, but I'm going to learn how to say it right, because that's what it's referred to as. It's number 58, and that's actually referencing to 1958 is when that started. So the Austrians had just finished fighting Russia, that's why I was wearing the cap. They had just finished fighting Russia 15 years prior and realized that their rifles were not working. So they were using infields, they were using M1s, they were using all sorts of different stuff to protect their homeland. And they finally decided, you know what, let's get a true battle rifle. So they went out and they went to, shocker, who could fight the Russians better than the US? Take a wild guess. Germany. So they went to Germany and they said, hey, we like what you guys did with the G1, but we want to start doing differences on our rifle. And it was kind of humorous to read some of the stories about it, including the fact that Austrians wanted these sights 3mm higher. The Germans came back and said 3mm, dropping it down, is the difference between killing a person and not. So, shocker, they dropped it down 3mm. Kind of funny story with that. So they also wanted some differences from the G1. So they wanted something without a bayonet because Austrians do not use bayonets on their rifles. So this does not have a bayonet lug on here, nor was any bayonet ever produced for these that I'm aware of. There might have been a prototype, but it never actually went out. So yeah, I also found out just recently, cool things when you start researching what's in your collection. So this actually has a barbed wire cutter. What you would do is you put it into the slots here and you fire one ball round and you break the barbed wire. Pretty cool. Also has for breaching, you could see right there. And then also, I just shot it so it's a little dirty. This was meant to slip on rifle grenades. Pretty cool. So they did a lot of things similar to the G1s. As you can tell, similar butt stock to a G1s. As my laptop's trying to fall asleep, don't do that. This one I would consider in the pure scale is kind of a mutt. So whoever built this really knew their FALs, except for they used a Imbel receiver, which is great, but they cut it as a L1A1, which means, let's see if the camera will pick it up. There we go. This is cut for an inch. You could see right there. You could also see, and I didn't notice this till way later, so I'm using the bolt hold open on this so I could show this easier, is also cut for a folding charging handle, not the charging handle like that. Also, what they wanted, different from the G1s, if you can notice, is very similar in design to the STG58s. I can attest though, this is not a great design when it comes to firing the gun more than, let's say, I think it started smoking around 4 to 5 mags in, and I wasn't riding the trigger too hard, so 4 to 5 mags in, I could start to see steam rise up. I had to let it cool down. I mean, obviously, it could probably sustain more fire, but I don't want to risk cooking my rifle, so I stopped. But also on top of that, these get insanely hot, so I found myself sticking my hand back on the mag, which I know is kind of no-no to some guys out there. But that's all I could find that would work, because this literally started to heat up. Because shocker, metal gets hot when you start shooting. I'm assuming in Austria, hopefully they didn't have rifles melting down, but I'm assuming in the snow that would work awesome. The other thing that was great about these, that were different than the G1s, and for guys that collect rifles will notice, pretty similar to the G3 HK91s, how the bipod would slip back into the handguard here and fold up, and it's actually pleasant to shoot with the bipod folded up. Also, they decided what they would do with the bipod is they would mount it to the barrel, which actually does give it some rotation, so the shooter could adjust a slight variation, just enough to shift position. They also made it easier to adjust the gas settings compared to, let's say, like, I also have a Australian from 1961, so it's kind of funny. Apparently, I like 1961 FALs. My Australian does not have this easily adjustable gas system right here. So they put this here so you could easily twist that off. Boom, done. Adjust it, put it back together, and you're ready to go again. So pretty cool. Other than that, they wanted a 2-piece firing system, and they also wanted it to be select fire, just like most FALs out there. They featured a 20 round mag, which there's the inch pattern ones. You could tell by the front lug right there. You could also tell back there. So this is loaded with Ammo Incorporated, Lake City. It's awesome ammunition, by the way. I've not had a single flaw with it. I bought 500 rounds of it, and it is just going. I have tried and tried and tried to get it to foul up. Won't foul up. This is metric, so this is what this rifle should be chambered in, or cut to, I guess I should say. However, because it's cut to an L1A1, it's inch, so I could run both mags. I was kind of curious why they threw in metric and inch. Now I know it's cut for both. The metric is a little looser, but I could confirm it works perfectly. So the reason I love FALs is they look so incredibly sexy. I mean, I could definitely say that about a rifle. Holding this just has a certain kind of sex appeal. And I'm not just saying sex appeal for women flocking to men type thing. I'm talking about you're shooting this, you attract attention. Not just because it's loud, but people will look over and be like, what's that guy shooting? And they'll come over, and this just gorgeous, gorgeous rifle. I mean, you can't get nicer than this. So, also what the Austrians wanted to do is they wanted a bolt hold open feature, which was triggered. Let's see if I could do this. On this side, this right here, you press in as you're pulling the bolt back, locks it. It also does it after your last shot fired. If your STG58s are not locking back, it means your gas setting's wrong and readjust for it. I've been advised that if your STG58 is set to a certain gas setting where it starts to work, try one setting higher. Not sure why, I'm still learning, but I've been advised by people who know their FALs. So, yeah. I have on here the Holosun HS 403R. I just picked this up after shooting it today because I was having issues with the irons and I didn't realize it at the time, and it's still there because I haven't gotten the tool to adjust it, but I was shooting low and to the right and I couldn't figure out why. The gas was perfect because it's cycling, the bolt's locking back, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm only shooting to like 25 yards. This should not be shooting low and to the right. Found out whoever did it put this so far down, and then trying to deal with the rear iron sight, just couldn't get it dialed in till the end of the day when I already had dumped probably, I'd want to say a good $30-40 in rounds trying to get it to get perfect again. So, and that was without any tools, so I couldn't adjust that much. With this on here, it is a 2 MOA red dot, and from what I could tell, it's sighted to 100 yards right now. I could probably sight it better, but that's just what my buddies were able to get it to with a bore sight, and so it's sighted in for 100, and I should be able to get decent sight acquisition out of this. So with STGs also, they wanted a decent battle rifle that were different than Enfields, different than M1s. They wanted something their troops could carry, but the problem was they started to find out is when on full auto with these guns, they aren't the most accurate at 300-400 yards out. Guys started having issues, and so they started re-educating their troops. Their troops were then taught, as you're shooting right-handed, left-handed, you have your sling coming. Let's see if I could get this in the photo. You have your sling coming from here and back to here. So you were taught to wrap your arm in the sling and tighten and do bursts. So as you did bursts, you became more accurate with the gun. So instead of just riding the trigger until you were empty, only 20 rounds, now you could ride the trigger in small bursts and you were pretty accurate. Most guys would just go to semi-auto and engage from there. But it worked incredibly well in the snow. I mean, not a lot of places the snow could get into. What they would do when they would drop to the ground, they'd already have it open like so. And so when they're walking through the forest, all they have to do is when they drop prone, they put the butt of the gun to brace, and that's pretty easy as you're dropping down. And they drop the muzzle down and engage from there. Pretty easy. They didn't have any issues with the mags. Being the bolt hold open is engage. Feel comfortable loading a live mag. So, as you notice, there's no way that the magazine can get in the way as you're shooting. Easily activated and boom, 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 boom to the next mag. Fantastic rifle. So this one I picked up for way under market value. And I immediately went home and bragged to everyone, not because of just bragging rights, but because I am a true gun enthusiast. I love these guns, and I've been searching for one for so long. DSA makes some awesome replicas of these. Fortunately for mine was imported by Century Arms. Wasn't ever touched by them. Don't ever buy an FAL through Century Arms. That's been built by them. When you buy one through them, it's either going to work or not work. So, fortunately, most of their issues can be fixed. But I know of tons of people who have bought their FALs and had issues. So, this one has the DSA Extreme Duty dust cover on it. So I could run all sorts of optics. I'm going to be trying this one out because it's nice sight acquisition. It does still have some to where if, let's say I'm shooting prone and the rifle's like this, my red dot's going to drift. I forgot what that's called. Again, I'm still learning, but I'm getting there. Sometimes if that occurs, your shots are going to be off. So until I could figure out a decent scope, I think this is going to work perfect for what I need it for. I don't go prone a lot. There's not very many places for me to do that. However, I am looking at a 1 in 6 scope for this to engage to 400 or 500 yards. I'd be happy. So probably a 1 MOA scope. So other than that, I'm trying to think what else there is. There's so much information. These guns look so basic. You got the adjustable gas system here, which comes out. It's piston all the way back to here. Pulls out the front. After unscrewing the handguards, you could get to the barrel. I highly recommend anyone who buys a FAL, check your barrel. So when I purchased this, I didn't even think about checking the barrel. And then one of my buddies is like, dude, pull the barrel. Let's see what's there. So I pulled the barrel, and that's when I found out it's a matching numbers gun. And so I knew exactly which year it was produced, which led me to, all right, it was produced by Steyr when they took over. And so yeah, other than that, the cool part about these guns is even though they're super complex, they're super easy to keep maintained. So they have these here. Let's see if I can do this. Pops open, easy. This comes out. Boom, there's your bolt carrier tail right there. Super easy to clean. Dust cover slides off. You could run a FAL without a dust cover. I don't recommend it, but you can easily. Other than that, there's a pin here. You push this and then unscrew it, other side. Then there's a little inner piece here that you push the other way and it comes out, and it allows you to screw this piece in. So don't forget that when you're reassembling it, you do need to put that back in or it's not going to hold together. Super, super simple rifle to take care of. However, it is not simple when it comes to how these work. Only a licensed shop owner should be working, or shop should be working on these. People who know their FALs should only be working on FALs. So I would highly recommend Arizona Response as one of them. He knows his stuff extremely well. He is probably one of, or the best FAL builder and also gunsmith. In my opinion, I haven't seen anyone who could do a finer rifle. He does amazing work, and I hope one day I'll get one built from him. So other than that, yeah, that's the STG58 right there. Awesome rifle. One of these days I'll have to also post up my Aussie. It is going through a laminate wood swap right now, so that's one thing with the buttstock. I found out it is actually pretty complicated. You have a rod that shoots down sideways, kind of like this, that comes off the receiver. This rod has a spring yay long on a rod this long, so you could imagine how compressed that spring is. You pop your butt plate off after unscrewing it, and then you can get into that. So they make a tool for it that makes it super easy. It catches on, and you just hold pressure and slowly release, and it's a T-shaped tool. So you slowly release. There's other ways to do it, but I highly recommend that tool. They're pretty cheap. It saves you from getting smacked in the face. I did not realize this, and I got hit in the face with the spring, and most people don't clean them, so I had these black little lines going down my face. It was a fun experience. Luckily, it didn't hurt too bad, so it just kind of hurt my pride for a second. But yeah, so then you have that rod there, and that actually negates a ton of recoil, and that little tail coming off your bolt will actually engage that, and it just helps everything cycle back. So that's why gas is so important to get right on an FAL. You want to make sure your headspace is perfect. You want to make sure everything is copacetic, because that is a big round to be going off. I use 148 grain. I do not want that blowing up in my face or having any issues happening with FALs. FALs in general are not for the faint of heart. With these ammo incorporated rounds, I'm running about 50 cents a round. For these, for these inch mags here, they could run you anywhere between $20 all the way up to about $60. If you want to get into some bigger mags, like the 30s, those could run you up to $80 a pop if you have an inch. If you have metric, you have these here, which are $20, so a little bit cheaper. So inch on this side, metric on this side, if you could tell the difference there. And also, same thing, inch this side, metric this side. There's a little bit of a groove in between here where it catches. So these are $20. You could run drums that are made by X Products. They're getting harder and harder to find. Fortunately for X Product, they dumped their CEO, who was actually, come to find out, anti-firearm. So finally he's gone. So I could recommend X Products again. So there's that option. I don't know how well it works in inch FALs because I haven't had that experience, so I can't recommend it. But yeah, if you guys ever see one, especially like me, where you're just walking in to ship off a gun that you just sold on Gunbroker and you're heartbroken, you gotta sell it, but you gotta sell it, and you see one of these for under $1,000 and it's made by Imbel or has an Imbel receiver. The Imbel receivers alone are $600. STG parts kits alone are going for $500 with decent wood like this. I mean, there's a tiny dent somewhere in here. Other than that, the wood is perfect. And then having the original barrel, that's $650, $700 in parts there, plus the receiver, plus it's an assembled gun. And it's made by Steyr, so that just makes things super cool. So Steyr also produced tons of awesome guns. So believe it or not, and I couldn't believe that they did this, but the Austrians, I'm getting my exercise by picking this gun up. This gun was actually replaced by what you affectionately refer to as the Space Hog. If you refer to it anything other than Space Gat or Space Hog, shame. This actually was replaced by the Space Hog in, I think, 1968, 1969. And Steyr produced those. They were finding the troops were struggling with 308 and 5.56 was more reliable. I don't know why. I'm not a military guy, so I can't get into that. However, I would choose a 308 battle rifle over a 5.56, but that's just me personally. I love 308s. I can't get enough of it. Every single day I'm sharing with my buddies some kind of 308 rifle I wish I could have, like thanks to Man on a High Castle I've been watching. I fell in love with the Howa type 56s, and unfortunately can't own one. Go figure. And then of course I've had other guns like Israeli Kar 98s that were rechambered by FN to shoot 308, flattest shooting 308s I've ever owned. Wish I never got rid of mine, but oh well. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about the FALs, just hit me up or hit up Arizona Response. I know they would love to hear from you guys. I am in no way affiliated with Arizona Response. I'm not getting any kickbacks or anything. I give credit where credit's due. So yeah, awesome piece of history. I love to show off to friends. I don't do it for, hey, look at me, look how cool I am. I just like to do it because I am a serious collector and I enjoy these things. I enjoy owning a piece of history, and I'll say, I was looking for this for almost, I'd want to say actively for 6 years. I barely missed one on Gunbroker for, no joke, sad moment. F reacts only, guys. I missed it by $3 whole. Kind of sad. So from April all the way till December of 2019, I have been searching. And then 3 days before the end of the year, it's sitting there. People were walking by it. It's listed for under $900. And people are just walking by it. Came with 4 mags, and for me as a foul collector, I was like, oh my god, I'm not even going to barter with the price. It's mine. I'm taking it home if I'm in the doghouse with my wife. Oh well, I get to cuddle with the FAL. I'm okay with that, I guess. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I'll post up my videos here. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I did notice right in the beginning, and I'm going to do it simply for educational purposes. My first video is going to show how your shots can be so affected on a 308. I didn't even notice it until afterwards. I was trigger slapping the hell out of the gun, which caused my shots to bounce all over. So, looks cool until you look back at it and go, oh, And that's why my shots are kind of all over. So even at 25 yards, you can notice a difference. So the key is when you're shooting your FALs, you want it right at the tip, not overextended like that, because no. You want it right at the tip, just slightly over. It's perfect. And don't be going like this. Just follow your trigger back, let it reset, and ride it back. And you'll find your shots will have way better groupings, and I'm willing to bet when I could get used to this, I could probably get it to about 2 MOA under its current setup with that red dot. Maybe even a little bit better depending on what grains I'm using. Only time will tell. But I'll give myself 2 MOA. Today, I'll be willing to admit I did 4 MOA. Kind of sad with this rifle. I'm kind of beating myself up a little bit for allowing disgrace to the rifle. So I promise I'll get better, guys. But yeah, second video is going to show some a little bit better shooting, and then by the end I got some nice shots. These are, like I said, not for the faint of heart. They do have recoil, but in my opinion, way better platform than a G3, way better ergonomics. I just love these guns. The only thing I miss, I used to own a 91. I miss just slapping that charging handle and just going for it. But other than that, I don't miss the recoil. I don't miss the trigger as much. I had an HK trigger set in there, a match grade. I did all sorts of work to mine. Literally, my rifle was completed, and it's like, it's a nice gun, but my Aussie FAL just annihilated it in every single way. And not to mention, even this setup here is lighter than my G3 was. My G3 weighed in at a whopping 18.5 pounds with my scope mount on there. It weighed in at almost, I was using, let's see, the claw mount. So I added another 1.5 pounds plus my scope, another pound. So literally 20 pounds plus the mag. Ridiculous. Compared to, I think these are about, my weight difference is a little bit different than most people. I'd want to say anywhere between, I think my Aussie's about 12 to 13 pounds. I think this one's approaching 16, 17 pounds. So I found myself having to use the bipod today because I'm still on a weight restriction. So I'm not allowed to lift this right now. So, oh well. It is what it is. Hopefully in time I'll be able to enjoy it more. I tried to shoot it and just hurt. So, oh well. Live and learn. If you guys got any questions, hit me up. Just post a comment. Please subscribe though. I'll try to get up some more videos and work on getting some more cool stuff. I have in the future some AK stuff I guarantee people will love. So yeah, subscribe. I'll catch you all later. Peace out, guys. and she's smoking. At this point, I'm going to stop because I don't want to do any more damage to her. She is smoking.